So thank you again for being here. This is a webinar called Exploring Diversity Abroad Scholarships. My name is Trixie Cordova, and I'm the Associate Director here at Diversity Abroad. And I'm joined today by my colleague, Deneen, who will also be introducing herself to you shortly. As I mentioned earlier, this is an interactive webinar, so definitely feel free to pose questions as we go throughout today's presentation. So again, my name is Trixie. I am the Associate Director at Diversity Abroad. Our organization has been around for about 11 years now, and we have always tried to create opportunities and programs and resources for diverse and underrepresented students to explore global opportunities. So if you don't mind, if you can raise your hand if this is the first time you're doing anything with us at Diversity Abroad, that would just be really helpful for us to know. So you can go ahead and press the little hand icon, and that would be great. Thank you. We're really excited that we always have student resources for you. So if you've never been abroad or you're thinking about going abroad for the first time, we certainly have all kinds of information on our website, www.diversityabroad.com. And we encourage you to consider visiting that webpage at any time. We have country guides, we have articles, we include alumni stories so you can hear from other study abroad participants. And of course, we have listings of programs and scholarships. So definitely take the time to become more familiar with our work. And I'm going to pass it over now to my colleague, Deneen, who will introduce herself and get us started.
Hello, everyone. My name is Deneen Johnson. I am the Community Engagement Coordinator for Diversity Abroad. So the bulk of my job here at Diversity Abroad is to work with student services. So I do a lot of outreach all over the country to different schools and institutions, colleges, universities, outreaching to students to get them excited about study abroad and the opportunities that await them. So you may see me on your campus sometime this semester because I'll be traveling around quite a bit. So feel free to, again, stop by our tables. We'll be at a lot of study abroad fairs. In addition to study abroad fairs and outreach, I also write some of the content for the website, some articles. I also do a few Facebook Live sessions. So just a lot of outreach for students. So again, at any point in time, feel free to connect with Trixie or myself. And we're here to assist you with this process of going abroad. So let's go ahead and get started with the webinar. But first, we have one more housekeeping item, which is our next webinar for next month in October. So today, again, we'll be talking specifically about Diversity Abroad scholarships. So you get all the information you need to be able to apply for the scholarships, and then a continuation essentially of this topic that we're talking about in terms of scholarships is how to pay for study abroad, which is next month. So we'll get more into the specifics of what are some alternative ways, or in addition to scholarships, what are some additional ways to pay for your study abroad experience. So again, join us back again next month on October the 5th, same time, for our next webinar on how to pay for study abroad. So getting started with the webinar, I know you're thinking, oh gosh, study abroad, it's so expensive. So just think about maybe how many times you've heard that, either your peers or maybe family or friends or someone else who has said, or maybe you've told that to yourself, that study abroad is expensive. You're thinking about how much the program costs, your international flight, if you don't have a passport, if you need a visa, how much spending money will you need, exchanging the currency, cell phone. You're thinking about all those costs up front, in addition to some of the university costs, and such as like tuition or housing, food, meal plans, etc. But we do want you to also take into consideration your financial aid package as well, as one of the ways to pay for your study abroad experience. So keep that in mind, because you are studying the academic component. Some of your financial aid will be able to pay for that. So you are studying abroad. So definitely check and see how much your financial aid package will cover for your university costs. And then you can always get scholarships that pay for additional costs that were mentioned in the previous slide. So we mentioned filling the gap with scholarships. So you can look at the left column versus the right column, and the left column can again pay for scholarships. The right column could be your financial aid package paying for that. So we'll go ahead and think a little bit more about scholarships specifically. It all is your mindset on it. Just reframe how you see the process of studying abroad and how you see your expenses, and you're thinking about budgets and money and finances. We want you to reframe how you think about this conversation of money in terms of studying abroad. So you know you want to go somewhere, but you're thinking, how do I get there? So let's start, again, we said start with your financial aid and also with scholarships. Are there other creative ways to be able to save your funds for that? And again, we'll talk about that more in the webinar in October. But we do want you to think about your attitude towards it. So we know that applying for scholarships could be a strenuous process, all of the little details that go into applying. But we want you to really, really, really reframe and think about how you think about the process, get organized so that you'll be able to go. And then think about your frame of reference. Why are you going? What are some of your professional, academic, and career goals? How will your study abroad experience help you get there? Knowing that you have a goal that you're reaching towards really helps you become motivated in applying for scholarships and applying for scholarships that you're really prepared for, that you've created a good resume or created a good application for. And again, it helps you solidify a good reason if you have a good attitude about it. Is your reasoning to go abroad so that you'll have future employers looking out for you as one of the stellar candidates for their jobs? Is that you want to go to grad school, or you want to have more global mindset and become a global citizen? So we really want you to reflect and think on why you're going abroad. Become really excited about the goals that you set for yourself, because that'll help you have a good frame of mind in terms of applying for scholarships. You'll be more excited, and scholarship applicants or those who offer scholarships will be excited to read your application, because they can read and feel that you're really excited about applying for this specific scholarship and having this opportunity. So we'll get right into diversity abroad specific scholarships. Now that you know how to have a good mindset, what are the expenses associated, one tip about your financial aid package, looking into that. And we'll talk specifically about diversity abroad scholarships, and Tracy's going to take it over from here.
Thanks, Deneen. So I sent a link to the chat through the chat box. Hopefully you all were able to see that. That link is for our next webinar, where we delve into all of the many ways that you can pay to study abroad. So I did just want to give that to you all. And then the other link I'm sending now is directly to our Diversity Abroad Scholarships page. So if you're looking at our screen, when you go to our website, diversityabroad.com, you just click on the top where it says Find Programs, and then at the bottom of that, you'll see a link to our scholarships. So all of those scholarships and the ones that we'll be talking about today will be available to you through that link or through the link that I sent you. So you can go ahead and kind of save that. We always update that to make sure that once a scholarship deadline has closed for the corresponding term, it will just automatically be removed, and then it will reappear once that application reopens. So I just wanted to make sure to point that much out. One of the 3 handouts that we have, and hopefully you all can see that there are handouts, there's one called the Diversity Abroad Scholarships Flyer. And that flyer is essentially the same information, it's just in a handout version. So if you wanted to, you can click that, it will download to your desktop. And then you'll be able to see all of the different scholarships that we offer, not just for this upcoming spring semester, but also in the summer and then the next fall. So we have different scholarships open at different times. So just keep in mind that the majority of scholarships we'll be reviewing today are all for the spring semester, and then we have one for the fall. And it's sort of an anomaly, and I'll be sure to explain what that scholarship is in more detail as we get there. So I just want to show you the next screen. This is what our scholarships homepage looks like at the top. You can come in here and search for scholarships beyond those that we directly offer. So those on the handout and those that you see listed on the scholarships homepage are the scholarships that we administer, meaning our staff, myself and Deneen, and other of our colleagues, we are reviewing those applications. We're looking for specific things in applicants, but those are by no means the exhaustive list of scholarships that exist. So there are certainly a lot more scholarships out there for you, and you can use our portal by searching if there's a specific country you want to go to, if you're studying a specific subject, or if you have a preference for going during a certain time of the year. So you can kind of plug in the different criteria and hit search. And if you want to just view all of the scholarships, you can just leave every one of those fields blank and then click the search button, and then you'll be able to see all of the scholarships available on our website. So I wanted to point that out for you. Try and bookmark that page, like I said, and come back to that at any time if you're interested in just seeing what's out there. So this is a feature we have called the Match Me tool. Diversity Abroad is an online community, and joining is free. And so we certainly want you to create a login. You can log in from the homepage of our website at the top right. And once you're logged in, you can search more specifically for scholarships or other opportunities based on your criteria. So the Match Me tool is something that you can only access once you've created a free profile. And once you create that profile, this is sort of what you can see from your end. And then you just click Match Me, and it'll kind of ask you a variety of questions, and then it will generate a list specific to what you select. So whether you're searching for scholarships, specifically in Spain during the summer semester, you can certainly choose those criteria and you can see those opportunities listed. So it differs a little bit from the general website search. And this one does, I think, try to consider what are some other specific needs or resources that you are adding to your profile to find you the best fit. So I did want to give you a plug for that, and definitely consider joining our website, because having a diversityabroad.com login is a requirement for all of our scholarships, and it's free. So certainly do that, and we hope that once you're logged in, you take advantage of this tool, of our community forums, and some other spaces that are exclusive to our website members. So this is a version of one of our scholarships, the Overseas Ambassador Scholarship. Whenever you click on a scholarship that comes up on our website that looks interesting, you can scroll down, you can read a little bit more about it, about the semester that it's offered, the amount, how many awards we give out. And once you think you're ready to access the application, you can click the green Visit Website button at the top right. So every single scholarship is linked to separate website links. So just know that you can click on each one and you would get directed straight to that application's application page, if that makes sense. So if you click this green Visit Website, what you'll see is what's on the next slide. And this is actually a different portal. You can see it's still ours. It's still a Diversity Abroad portal. But this is really where you do all of the work for your applications. So every application, as you can see, this one says Overseas Ambassador Scholarship, written right there on the second orange banner. So every scholarship you're interested in, you can go ahead and make sure you click on that Visit Website link and then come to this page and click Apply Now. So make sure, I think you have a maximum of applying to up to 2 applications per cycle. So you can go ahead and create applications. The login that you use for this portal is separate from Diversity Abroad website login. So just keep in mind, if you're like trying to use your student login for our website, this is technically a separate page. And so you would just create a whole new profile for this website, okay? So once you click Apply Now, you'll be able to see all of the directions. Every homepage looks a little bit different, but just keep in mind that this is where you actually go to access our scholarships. So feel free to look up all of the different scholarship types that we have on that handout. Feel free to read about each one of them. And after I go through each of the scholarships, now you can start to determine which ones appeal most to you, and then submit an application. So here's just a quick glance of the scholarships that we have that are open right now. As I mentioned, we have all spring applications open and one fall application. So what I'm going to do next is go through each one of these, what we're looking for with each scholarship or for each scholarship, the number of materials you might need, what's necessary to apply, and the application due dates. So the first scholarship that is coming up, and just keep in mind, these are all listed by application due date. So this first application we have is due on September 25th, which is 2 Mondays from now, I want to say. So it's coming up. This is a scholarship that we do in collaboration with our partners, Semester at Sea. So Semester at Sea is a specific provider. If you Google them, you'll see their name come up. They do have a profile on our website as well. Semester at Sea students who are going on the spring 2018 voyage should already know that they have been accepted. So you'll know immediately if this is one you are eligible for. We have 4 scholarships that we give out each semester. These scholarships are $5,000 towards tuition costs for Semester at Sea, plus we cover your flights. So flights sometimes leave from San Diego, depending on the voyage. Sometimes they leave from Germany. So this scholarship would not only pay for $5,000 towards your tuition for the ship, but it will also pay to cover your flights to and from either San Diego or Germany. If you are a Semester at Sea winner, you'll get to create resources and content for diversityabroad.com. Essentially, you'll be writing articles, posting photos, sharing your story with students. And so that's something we certainly hope you keep in mind as award winners. Semester at Sea does not have any citizenship requirements. So you do not have to be limited to a US citizen in order to be eligible. Again, it is only for Semester at Sea, and what is required is your username, a list of achievements and awards, leadership positions, your SAR, which is your student aid report, which you would email directly to Semester at Sea, a personal statement, and 1 essay. So these are, once you log in, you'll see the type of questions that we're asking, but really the short personal statement and the essay, I think at most are 1,000 words. So create that application, and then you can certainly see what the questions are. And I encourage you for any of these scholarships to log in at least a few weeks, if not earlier, to see what the materials are, so that if there are any components here that you don't already have or can't quickly upload, that you take some time to write these essays. As I mentioned before, all of these scholarships are ones for which we read to determine who we award these scholarships to. So we can certainly tell when applications were put together last minute versus really thoughtfully written out. So just keep that in mind as you submit or think about submitting applications to any of these scholarships. The next scholarship we have is in partnership with AIFS. AIFS is another program provider. Again, their programs are listed throughout our website. You can also find their website by just Google searching them. For this program, we have 2 $5,000 scholarships towards the spring. Again, it's only applicable to students that are applying or attending AIFS programs. And you can see where they have programs all around the world on their website. For this one as well, you will be able to write articles for diversityabroad.com. And for this, we ask for your username, your awards, leadership positions, and an essay. So it's just 1 essay by comparison to the previous award. And this application will be due on October 1st. The next scholarship that is due is also with Semester at Sea, and this is actually a brand new scholarship that we're excited to announce. So if you are at what is deemed a minority serving institution, that is what the MSI in this scholarship stands for. So an MSI and what qualifies as an MSI, I'll make sure to include a link here so you know whether or not your application, your school is eligible. You can be eligible to apply for the scholarship. So this scholarship, we have 4 $5,000 scholarships. Similar to the previous semester C scholarship, it's open to students regardless of their citizenship. The only caveat is that you do have to be a student at a minority serving institution. And so, as I mentioned, I'll be sure to include a link to what qualifies as a minority serving institution. But essentially, if you are at a historically Black college or university, if you are at a Hispanic serving institution, if you are at a predominantly Black college or a tribal native college, there are certainly a lot that are out there. If you're not really sure what is included, I've just sent you all a link to a pretty comprehensive list. We certainly encourage you to confirm with your school whether or not you qualify as a minority serving institution. And then that will help us make sure that you are in fact eligible for the scholarship. It's very similar, as I mentioned, to the other semester at sea scholarship, except instead of a personal statement and an essay, we're just asking for a personal statement. And this application will be due on Monday, October 4th. And again, this is a new scholarship, so if you do think you might be qualified and eligible, we encourage you to submit an application for this because we're very excited to be offering it for the first time. The next scholarship we have is actually in partnership with our friends at the University of Auckland. We have one full scholarship for the spring semester, and in the application, you can actually even indicate if you do not receive the full scholarship, if you would be interested in at least getting up to 5 $1,000 New Zealand dollar travel grants. So if you're intending to study at the University of Auckland regardless, you can certainly still get $1,000 travel credit, which never hurts. So we certainly encourage you to do so. The University of Auckland is in New Zealand, which is over down near Australia. So if that's a region of the world you're really interested in, I certainly encourage you to apply. A full scholarship doesn't come that often, and we're really excited to be able to offer that to you. There is a GPA minimum of 3.0, but there is not a citizenship requirement. So make sure if that's a location you're really interested in going to, that you consider submitting an application. Here you can see we're asking for your username, 2 essay questions, and your acceptance letter. So if you know that you have been approved to attend or you are planning to attend, we ask for a photocopy of that acceptance letter so that we can ensure that you were in fact accepted into the program. So this is our scholarship for the University of Auckland, and these applications are due on October 9th. Next up is a scholarship we have with the Foundation for International Education. These are our partners who are actually sponsoring our next webinar on how to pay for it. So we're really excited to be working with them in many capacities. We have 2 scholarships, and this is a scholarship that we only have for the spring semester. So if you're looking for studying abroad maybe around this time next year, unfortunately, this will not be one of those scholarships that are available. So we certainly encourage you to consider applying for this scholarship for the spring semester. So we have 2 scholarships for $3,000 each. It is only applicable for FIE programs, and most of their programs I know are within the United Kingdom, so Ireland and England. So if those are 2 countries you're really interested in and you've never heard of FIE before, definitely take a look at some of their programs to see if they might be a fit for you, and then maybe you can then apply to our scholarship. These application requirements, besides your username, of course, and an acceptance letter, is 3 short essay questions. And these applications will be due on October 15th. The next scholarship we're really excited to offer is our Diversity Abroad China Institute Scholarship. This is something that we are excited to offer because we have not just 4 $20,000 scholarships, which is huge, but 1 full scholarship. So if you've ever wanted to study in China, if you happen to be an engineering or business major that is looking to get experience in China, or just experience going to Asia, I think this is a really great, unique opportunity. Um, as I mentioned, we have 5 scholarships for the spring, one full one, which is all inclusive of flights, of meals, of housing, of tuition, everything. And then we have 4 $20,000 scholarships. So the $20,000 scholarships are also really impressive. The difference that students would pay if you were to be awarded a $20,000 scholarship is around $9,000. And certainly that's not a small amount, but if you look at your financial aid package, if you consider applying for other financial scholarships and grants, there are certainly ways to help cover those costs as well. What's great about this scholarship is that there's additional support that you would receive as a recipient through us at Diversity Abroad. And then not only would you be able to get the scholarship from us, but you would also get support from us prior to leaving and doing some pre-departure support. Once you're in country, we would check in to make sure that things were running smoothly. And you would also get a complimentary registration to join us at our student conference that happens each year. And it will actually be in Miami in the spring. So unfortunately, the timing for spring awards is that you may not make it back in time, but you can certainly use that registration towards the following 2019 Global Student Leadership Summit. Again, these programs the scholarship is only open to students that apply to the University of Dayton's China Institute program. One thing I do want to say that's also great about this scholarship is technically you're going to an American school that has a program in China. So your credits would be transferring from the University of Dayton, which makes it really easy to transfer credits from one American institution to another. And it also means that your GPA is translated as well. So sometimes when you go through an international school, they don't have the same 4.0 scale and they don't have letter grades. So you kind of have to make sure that you translate that as much as possible. But here it's the opposite, and it's quite easy. Not only that, but all the courses are taught in English. So you would certainly be able to thrive in this workspace, and language is not a barrier by any means. If you are interested in this scholarship, the other 2 handouts that we've attached into this webinar include the spring course listing for 2018, so you can take a glance at what kind of courses are offered this year. And then there's another general flyer if it is something that you're interested in. So I encourage you to do that. In terms of the application requirements, of course, a username, a copy of your acceptance letter, and 3 short essay questions. These applications are going to be due on October 20th. The next scholarship is one of our featured scholarships and programs. It's our Diversity Abroad Overseas Ambassadors program. So the Overseas Ambassadors are really representing Diversity Abroad's mission and vision while they're overseas. So all of our students represent racially, ethnically diverse backgrounds, different kinds of majors. So this photo here is of Diana, who was a STEM major, and she was studying abroad in Brazil. So she's sort of like the perfect image in some ways of the kinds of students that we want to see challenging the stereotype of who studies abroad. So, I mean, we feel that way about all of our scholarship recipients, but overseas ambassadors do additional publicity in some ways for Diversity Abroad. They post a lot of photos. So if you follow us on social media, on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, please do. And you'll see that every Tuesday, our overseas ambassadors post sort of like a day in the life. And so they share images from their time living abroad and what life is like overseas. So we certainly encourage you to check those out. For this scholarship, we have 5 that we offer for the spring. It's $500. You get a swag bag, which is full of Diversity Abroad goodies. So you get a backpack. We've had t-shirts, journals, water bottles in the past. We certainly try to give you just a lot of really cool stuff that we encourage you to carry around to spread the word about what Diversity Abroad is and does. And so as we say here, this is a perfect opportunity for students who really want to um, keep track really of what their experience is like, and want to have those memories just shared and available. So if you are even interested, perhaps maybe you're a communications major and you want to develop some social media experience in a professional or academic setting, this is the perfect opportunity to do that. What we ask for is your photo, a copy of your acceptance letter. I actually forgot to add here, we do ask for a recommendation letter, so that is something you'd want to look for. And then it's actually a 2-minute video application. So it's no essay, you don't have to write anything. A large part of this program is that we want to see you and hear from you, because you'll be sharing hopefully photos and videos from your time abroad. So if you Google if you check YouTube and you Google Overseas Ambassadors application, you might see a couple of examples. And we certainly encourage you to use that as inspiration to see what kind of application videos we've received in the past. So this scholarship is available now and will be open through November 1st. The next scholarship we have is the Diversity Abroad Planning Scholarship. And I know that link is really hard to see, so I'll definitely make sure to include it here for you all instead. But this is a scholarship that is available through students who are attending Diversity Network member schools. So Diversity Abroad has a professional consortium of over 200 schools. So if your school is on this list, which you can click now, then you're eligible for this award. It's actually 1,500, not 1,000, so I apologize for that error. And I didn't change the application due date either, so my apologies for that. This application is actually due November 17th, so I apologize for the error. But all of the other information is the same. There are 3 scholarships. You have to spend a minimum of 4 weeks abroad, so this is for the fall. And we also, this is completely wrong, actually. So I'll make sure to update this slide, and I'm sorry I didn't catch this. But these application materials are essentially due November 17th. This is a scholarship that what we do is you apply for it in the fall. Throughout the spring semester, you would do a series of workshops with me over video chat, kind of like this that we're doing right now. And then we would be going through a webinar each month to just make sure you feel as prepared in the planning process of your study abroad program for the fall semester. So I'll make sure to update some of this information. It is correct on the handout, so I do want to point that out as well. So this application, again, is actually due on November 17th. And it's not a video application, it does have essay questions, so I apologize for the error. So the last application and scholarship that we have that we wanted to tell you about is in partnership with the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. We have 5 scholarships open for the spring semester, and these are worth $7,500. There is a minimum 3.0 GPA, and you must be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident in order to apply. What we ask for here are your username, your acceptance letter to the program, and then 2 short essay questions. And this application closes on November 30th. So if you've ever wanted to study in the Middle East or perhaps learn more about Israel, there's a lot of programs that Hebrew University offers. So we encourage you to read more about that. Something to note about all of our scholarships that I've just reviewed, these applications all close at midnight. So you do have until 11:59 p.m. to submit your applications. And you don't have to complete them right when you log in. You can always come back and save your information and complete the applications to be submitted fully. So I encourage you, again, to look into some of the applications you might be interested in most, and to open those applications now to see what the materials and the application requirements are. So this is a copy of the same information in the handout. I just wanted to show you more fully what this list includes. There are two other scholarships that I didn't mention on today's webinar, and that's our Summer Scholarship for the Diversity Network and the Summer Israel Scholarship. So we'll be conducting a similar webinar like this next semester so that you can see what some of those scholarships look like. But if you're wondering why we only went over 9 and there's actually 11, that is what the discrepancy is. So I just wanted to be able to share that with you. So one more list of other scholarships just to keep in mind, and we'll go over these in more depth at the next webinar again, which is on Thursday, October 5th. This is just a few at a glance because, again, we want to emphasize that our scholarships are by no means an exhaustive list. There are a lot more that are out there, and that just kind of depends on what you're looking for, when you're hoping to go abroad, what you might be qualified and eligible to apply for. And a couple of these, if you kind of write them down, the first the first two are both state funded. The third one, Fund for Education Abroad, has a lot of scholarships that you should certainly look into. The Bourne is also a State Department fund. And then the rest you can kind of consider when you're looking through, again, what are some other options that are available. So if anyone has questions, please feel free to type those in. You can also email us at community@diversityabroad. We are happy to address any questions that you might have right now about funding, about our scholarships, about what we look for in applicants. And this is really your time to chime in. Any questions? And again, don't forget about the handouts that we have. Those are for you to download and view at any time. I definitely encourage you to download at the very least our Diversity Abroad Scholarships webinar. I'm sorry, flyer, so you can access that at any time. Okay, well, I think if there are no questions, thank you, Deneen, for being my co-host for this webinar. You all are welcome to contact us at any time if you have questions, to join diversityabroad.com to get access fully to all of our resources. And you have the handout with all of our scholarship information. So thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you at the next webinar.